I have recently discovered a new-ish artist, NF. I have been vibing to his 2019 album, The Search. Let's talk about it. I'm Leah Dubs, and I'm a writer. That's it. Okay, so I'm gonna keep it real with you. I really struggled with how to talk about this album because I feel a lot of different ways about the artist NF. By now, you should know that I am not coming on here to hate on things. So I'm here because I have good things to say. But this artist has brought out a lot of mixed feelings for me. A big part of it is because I find that he is a difficult artist to fit into the rap genre. There's a lot of layers of complexities in his character rapper. First and foremost, I think he is so talented. I love the sound of this album. I loved the writing, and I loved the way his voice sounded as he was rapping. I think as a musician and as an artist, he's very talented, but he doesn't quite look like a rapper, and he doesn't even quite sound like a rapper. It almost sounds as if he is rapping a different genre of music, but he is a rapper. And I think that his music is good, and I think that his music is impactful. One of the main reasons why I decided to just come on, turn on my camera, and free fall is because his music is actually helping me in my life. As a rapper who doesn't necessarily look like a rapper, who doesn't necessarily sound like a rapper, who doesn't rap like he's rapping rap music, he is a good example of a reflection of the times. And in these times, middle-class Americans are really struggling with their mental health. NF does a great job of capturing that struggle and putting it in rhyme. That's not an easy thing to do, so I am here for it, okay? Now, about this actual NF, the character rapper, not the person. We don't know the person. NF, the character rapper's internal struggles is that he is very introspective. This entire album, The Search, is a conversation with himself. And he even has a couple of songs in this album in which he's having a conversation with his actual demons. He doesn't give, at least not from what I've heard, he doesn't give a lot of detail on his background. So I don't know what his upbringing was like. But in this moment in his life as an adult, NF, the character rapper, is very miserable. He's very lonely and is so bogged down and tortured by his mental state. He is full of self-hatred and doubt, so not a very happy sounding guy. I think what makes this music, what has made it so impactful for me, is that he's shining a light on not only himself, but what's going on with a lot of people in today's society. Because it's hard out here. It's hard. The struggle is real. When I put on this album and I can hear and feel that someone is going through the same things that I'm going through, it is comforting to me, and it deserves praise and it deserves gratitude. That is pretty much it. All that I want to say about NF, the character rapper. Now I'm going to get into talking about the actual album. The Search, it was released in 2019. I heard it for the first time a few months ago. I've probably listened to it about an equivalent of 4.5 times between listening to the album from top to bottom and thumbing through my favorite songs. Overall, I love the sound of this album. It's giving me its clown vibe. It brings out some childhood feels, but it's pretty dark too. This is where conflict kind of bubbles up for me because I do like the sound, but there's nothing really special about the sound going on in this album. That doesn't mean that it's not good. There are a lot of artists who push their listeners. Kendrick Lamar is a good example, who push their listeners' ear. I don't think that NF is this kind of artist. Whether or not that's egregious in the hip hop space, I don't know. I am doing this discovery live. As I'm learning, I am speaking. So please enlighten me in the comments. Let's talk about it. What the community thinks about an artist like NF. A lot of the stuff that I'm saying now and in all of my videos is just me in my own head. I'm curious to know how people are feeling this man. It is a conundrum. I also like the writing in this album. Similar to the sound, his writing is not very cryptic at all. I personally like writing that's not very cryptic simply because I think it is an admirable skill when you can say it with your chest and still be impactful. If we are defining good by artistically expressive, if we are defining good by the ability of that piece of artwork to evoke an emotion, then an artist like NF can still be considered good, even though his sound isn't all that creative and his writing style and his lyricism, the words that he chooses are not all that complicated. Also, I like the way that he spits. He changes the sound of his voice quite often. Even in one of his songs on this album, he does a little bit of humming, singing, just a little He yells his raps a lot, and I also find that enjoyable. It's almost like if heavy metal heart and rap music genre had a baby. I think when rap was first spawned into our lives, God started cranking out those rap prototypes right away. You have some artists and they just feel like they were born to be rappers, as if they were not born in a time where rap existed, they might have been a plant or something, because it just feels like there's so much rap just flowing through their bones that there was nothing else they could possibly do with their life except be a rapper. NF is not that guy. He is a talented musician and a beautiful writer, but he is not the rap prototype. But I think that rappers like NF are still important to the genre because they are able to fill the space, because there's only so many people who are born with this rapper A blood type, and without everybody being able to participate, the genre sort of just shrivels up into a really tiny niche and won't survive. So in my opinion, artistically, NF is a important artist for the genre. Okay, I think I'm done blabbing about that. I'm gonna get right into my favorite tracks on the album. The very first one, The Search. I thought it was a great intro, a great example of this very emotional way that he spits, where he's yelling a lot. He sets the tone of the album up very nicely for the listener with the line, "Hang up my heart, let it air out." And that basically is what he's doing through the entire album, is just really airing out his mental dirty laundry, which is interesting because he is again in this really intense battle with himself. So even him saying that he's going to air out his own dirty laundry is somewhat of a punishment. Is this constant conversation of doing something to himself, reading that situation and doing something to himself again, in this cycle that happens over and over again. This sentiment he expresses throughout his entire album of this really toxic relationship he has with himself. And although it is horrible sounding, this album is entitled The Search, so he is doing this in a way to get past his demons and just digging through all of his issues. I also love the song Leave Me Alone. As a writer, he does an excellent job of really clearly defining the internal madness and the mess of a conversation that someone who has mental health issues has in their head. I've listened to this album and just cried. And when I'm feeling so frustrated and just so over the limit, it makes me feel better. I can relate to these very deep and self-torturing emotions. Another song that I really love is When I Grow Up. And all these songs that I'm listing off are my crying songs. I could put these songs in a playlist, hide in a dark closet, and listen to it and just keep crying until I feel better. So When I Grow Up, I like this yelling that he does on this track most of all, but I also like this song a lot. I Miss the Days. This is the very first song that I heard from NF, and it showed up on my Rap Pandora station. I didn't know who he was. I heard this song and I absolutely loved it. It was so heartfelt. The one bar, he says something to the effect of, when did I cave in? When did I give it all away? And just, that one hit me right here. When I hear a song like that, I have to go and research the artist and listen to more music. So this is where I discovered him. So that's why it's one of my favorite songs. And I also like Time Edit. I just like the way this one sounds. It just wraps the album up beautifully for me. I liked pretty much every one. I thought the album is really good. I think it is a updated type of music that really speaks to the times and really speaks to the troubles of the current generation. For that reason, of course, I think it is important music. For that reason, it is a space for us to listen, open up our hearts, open up our minds, to understand others and understand and learn something about ourselves. Bravo! I thought it was great. I know that this album is helping so many people throughout their lives. Any piece of artistic work that offers people hope and value and a way to cope with their circumstances, that must be an amazing feeling. It must be an amazing feeling as an artist to be able to do that for people. I think that's all that I wanted to say. Please get in the comments and tell me your thoughts on NF. I was shocked that his music was so popular. I had no idea because I'd not heard anything about him, which doesn't really say much because I'm kind of in my own little world over here. I'm curious to know how he's received in the hip hop community for all of the super deep, long-term hip hop rap fans. Please let me know what the deal is with him. I did listen to his most recent album and I was very happy to hear a lot of this change take place. I was very happy to hear him in a new and seemingly happier place. I loved that just as a human to human. As a rap fan, it really just didn't hit the same for me. So I'm wondering what you guys thought about his most recent album as well. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all of your support from my followers so far. This has been great. It's been so much fun. And I will just see you next time. Bye-bye. Namaste.